my trail intentionally has some obstacles to overcome where maybe the other trails don't necessarily have that, but it is there for a reason, and like I'm saying, to help big you up. But also they're not obstacles to overcome that are impossible to overcome. They just take a little bit more energy, man. It's just a little bit bigger, it's just a little bit longer, it's just a little bit wilder. But if that's what you're looking for, then you're stoked on a trail like this. But if, like I said, you're hiking the AT and the PCT and CDT, and already it's too wild, it's too obstacle, it's too crazy, then, you should probably just do a section, just start with one of the Coast Connect Trail or something like that. The Hot Springs Trail really has kind of two main goals: to honor trails, to honor hot springs, and then the adventure that comes between them. In my experience versus the other trails that I've hiked, and before the long distance trails, the other journeys and adventures that I had gone on for myself, this one in particular was just far and above and beyond everything, and just all of the things about the other trails that I loved lined up with this one. And so it's kind of really outside of my hands. It's funny, like I did publish it, I have produced it, but so much of it has been from what other people have donated, from what other people have shared, and from what other people have published, and from what other people have pioneered. The boots on the ground, that's the real deal. That's what it's all about. And then I just am the one who came, like I said, I'm kind of on the zoom out level, so I'm the one who kind of saw above that all of this was going on, but there really wasn't something like harnessing it or something that was defining it, which is what an author, I feel like is supposed to do, is to define something. So pretty interesting, but that's what it's about. I was more about the experience of the actual hiking, and so some trails might be about, let's get across this state from north to south, or they might be about, let's go along this feature like the Pacific Crest. But my trail's more about, like, let's have this experience. Like, this is going to be a hot springing, farmer's market eating, peak bagging experience. And so the combination of those together form the Hot Springs Trail. And so you're always like doing one of the other of those. But I think it's also important to recognize and realize that trails and the best routes really highlight a natural feature, something that maybe was random, just something that people didn't know about, and then because it got defined, then it becomes something. And so things like the Continental Divide Trail stands on the shoulders of the people who discovered and defined the Continental Divide. And the Pacific Crest Trail, it depends and defined itself on the people who defined the Pacific Crest as this feature, land feature. And so the same thing with the hot springs. Like, there's so many people who have helped find and get these hot springs to be where they're at today, and without them there definitely would be no Hot Springs Trail. So, but also at the same time, I don't think that their work should go unrecognized, should go just unrealized. You know what I mean? Something like the Hot Springs Trail puts it into perspective, what it actually is, who these people are, even though they're just mysterious stewards. And that's how it'll probably remain in the future. A lot of people who donate their time to cleaning up hot springs, they're not asking for like a recognition, but I think the Hot Springs Trail as a whole just recognizes the culture of people who are willing to put in the time to do this.